we'll get started here. Thank you everyone for coming. I appreciate the effort everybody makes to make it here. And the weather is so nice after we've had such crappy weather, so I appreciate everybody making the sacrifice to be here during nice weather. First off, we do a bit of housekeeping here. Introductions, myself, Deb Angus. I'm the founder of this group, and I'm a traumatic brain injury survivor warrior. I was injured in 2001 and was not diagnosed till 2003. And so I became an author, speaker, and advocate, and this is the book that I researched and wrote over a 10-year period. It's available at the Calgary Public Library, and I do have a few copies here with me. Josephine was a former healthcare nurse. She's 3 years into her battle now with concussion, and she's the person who helped me get started with this group. When she found out that this was one of my desires to get a group going, she said, well, get going with it. So why are we here? We're here to help raise awareness about the seriousness of concussions and traumatic brain injuries, to help you understand the symptoms of a concussion, how easily these injuries happen, the healing process for concussions and brain injuries, and to share coping strategies to help you better understand this injury and to help you live well while recovering, and to help you recognize that multiple concussions can lead to serious consequences that can impact your career, your relationships, and your future health. We have a medical disclaimer here. The ideas, suggestions, and general principles and conclusions presented are subject to your personal health and sound medical advice. Every possibility is not presented, nor do we presume that all possibilities relate to your specific situation. This awareness group is not a substitute for recognized medical advice or treatment, and please always consult your healthcare practitioner for medical advice. We have some group guidelines here as well regarding confidentiality, respect, and participation. Thoughts, feelings, and experiences shared in this group will stay in this group. Please respect others' right to keep their information private. Accept and respect what is unique to each attendee in the group. Be respectful of others' spirituality, religion, and belief systems. Allow others equal time for sharing. And if you prefer to remain silent and pass on sharing at any time, please feel free to do so. And now would be an excellent time for you to please switch off your cell phones.
I'm trying to find it.
And this is our meeting structure. We try to stick with this one. It's a new one for us. We just started in the fall because when we did survey feedback sheets last May, there were some people who are fairly high functional and they couldn't get through the whole hour and a half without taking a break. So we have fit in a 10-minute quiet time for those who are fairly high symptomatic, and some people actually lay down on the floor and be quiet and have some quiet time, a good brain break for 10 minutes. And then we resume our presentation. Sometimes we bring in a guest speaker as well, and then we have a 30 to 40 minute sharing circle at the end of the evening, and that's a nice way to sit down and chat and get to know each other and find out how everybody else is dealing with this. So we get on to our main portion of the presentation here. This is part 2. We'll be talking about energy, sleep, and music. Previously, last month, we did part 1, and it was called Silencing the Inner Critic, and we covered positive affirmations, deep breathing, relaxation response technique, mindfulness meditations, loving kindness, and self-care. If you missed that presentation or would like to review it again, we do post our videos on our Facebook page, and we also have a channel on YouTube, so please do have a look at those videos. And so part 2, we're going to be covering managing your energy, improving sleep hygiene, and sound and vibrational healing with music. So our first section we'll start here is managing your energy. And I always like to put in a few humorous bits. Want to do something today? I can't because I did a thing yesterday. So this is the kind of thing we're going to try to avoid. If we can learn to manage our energy properly, you're going to avoid this kind of stuff. And you don't want to end up like this poor puppy here by the end of the day, or even, heaven forbid, in the middle of the day.
How did they get him to lay still like that?
He must have been having a good nap. So really, when you're managing your energy, it's important with a brain injury, you have to remember, keep in mind that size really does matter. Because here, the average person has a battery pack of 15 hours per day. You can see the different sizes here. Brain injury has a battery pack of only 4 hours. So it really doesn't give you a lot of energy to do everything that you want to do in a day. So this is why it's so important to learn how to manage your energy. The brain typically uses approximately 20 to 30% of the body's oxygen and energy. When injured, the brain has to work that much harder to accomplish the simplest of tasks, such as organizing information and producing speech. This leaves very little energy for the physical requirements for the rest of the body, such as maintaining equilibrium or balance and coordinating movements. This is why an injured brain needs so much rest throughout the day, and even more so why relaxation and stress reduction, which we covered in part 1, are vital in an effort to conserve precious energy and to invoke the healing powers of our bodies. The brain is working double overtime, juggling basic functioning while it's also healing. Very important part, because it's just like you're saying, I'm going to do all this today, but your brain is still healing. You're going to reach a point where the brain says, okay, I've reached my limit, I can't function anymore, you're pushing me too much, it's going to shut you right down. And you're going to look like that little puppy falling asleep on the ground. Living well in spite of brain injury requires our utmost attention to every detail of our daily lives. In an effort to maintain an appearance of reasonable normalcy, it requires extra effort and vigilance, which creates unavoidable fatigue, and therefore the need for frequent rest periods throughout the day and more quiet time. So I have a few tips here. Routines and scheduled times for activities are very important. It puts less stress on the brain. It helps to reduce stress and helps to protect valuable and limited energy stores. And here's a Concussion Center in Toronto, and they are offering how to conserve your energy after concussion is the 4 Ps. Prioritize, plan, pace, and position. So prioritize, you have to decide what is important. And what are you able to do based on how you currently feel. And you have to break your daily activities into urgent, things that must be done today. Important, must be done in the next few days, so if you don't get to it today, it's not a disaster. For later, must be done this week or later in the month. So again, if you don't do it today, it's not a big deal. You just schedule it in when you're feeling better. And things that you don't need to do or can't do, can it wait until you're feeling better? And sometimes you need help. Can somebody do it for you? Planning, what are you going to do? Organize what you need to do. Do tasks that use more energy at times in the day when you feel best. For me, it's in the morning. If I have a big thing to do when I'm fresh and early in the morning, I have lots of energy. If I have anything that's taxing to do or hard to do, I'll do it in the morning. And if I flake out in the afternoon, that's okay, because I got that bad chore done. Make rest breaks part of your routine. When I was working, my coffee break in the morning, I would lay down and have a brain break. And during lunch, I would lay down again and have another brain break. And the coffee break in the afternoon, again, I would lay down and have a brain break. In total darkness, total silence. And that's the only way I could get through the day. Otherwise, I would hit the wall at 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I couldn't function. Wouldn't be able to talk, wouldn't be able to lift up my arm. You have to learn to budget your energy. Planning saves mental energy and helps you avoid trying to remember what to do and when to do it during the day. How are you going to do it? For pacing. Take breaks if you don't feel well. After concussion, your brain is less able to do tasks that were once automatic. Like me, I couldn't tie a bow. Like even on my shoelaces or when I crafts and stuff like that, I couldn't tie a bow. I just kept trying and laughing at myself, and after about 150 bows for this craft project I was doing, I kind of got it, but it wasn't perfect, but at least I can get it. So it's just repetition. So it may take more time to complete tasks as you recover. So something that you didn't even think about before, and you just, I can get this out of the way in 5 minutes. Now it's probably going to take you half an hour. Complete the task over stages. You may not be able to finish anything all at once. Was that you, Terry, I was talking about? Somebody. I was trying to clean out my kitchen cupboards and reorganize them, do a bit of spring cleaning, and one cupboard took me 4 days. Because I do a little bit here, and then I go off and rest or eat and wash dishes, whatever, then I come back and do a little bit more. And so that would drive some people crazy because they just get it all done in one go, but it's not practical sometimes when you have a brain injury. So you plan your tasks throughout the day so you are not doing too much all at one time. And position, where are you going to be when you're doing your tasks? Noisy, busy, and distracting environments make it hard to concentrate and will use up more energy. Think about your environment and how you stand or sit in it. And your environment can make a difference in how you feel and how you're able to conserve your energy and get through that task. So tip number 2, learn to live within your limitations and how to budget your now limited energy stores. And again, I cannot stress enough, you only have on average 4 hours of energy for the day. You don't have 15 anymore. Sorry, that's just the way it is while your brain is healing. And you have to learn to budget wisely. And the best way to do that is what's called the spoon theory. Terry, you said there was another name that Savis and that was using?
It's called Parkwood pacing.
Parkwood pacing. Okay, so the spoon theory here, a lot of people on the Facebook groups are talking about this. And what it is basically, they have columns here with how many spoons these tasks will take. And on average, they say most people start out the day with 12 spoons. Well, say you're working, you're managing to hold down a job. Well, it's going to take 1 spoon to get out of bed, 2 spoons to bathe, 1 spoon to get dressed. So there's 4 spoons already, so you have 8 spoons left for the day. So you're going to have to make a meal. There's 3. How are you going to get to work? Is somebody driving you? Or if you're driving or you're taking the transit, that's going to use up energy as well too. And actually to go to school is going to take 4 spoons. So you can easily see how those 12 spoons dissipate quite quickly. So for me, I never bothered styling my hair for many years. I just kept it long and kept it tied back because I couldn't be bothered. It just took up too much energy. And so, yeah. So they say here as well too, take away 1 spoon if you didn't sleep well last night, or if you forgot to take your meds, or if you skipped a meal. Take away 4 spoons if you have a cold. If you have a cold. If you're dealing with any other kind of illness, that's just going to take away a lot of your spoons there. So. Tip number 3, learn to recognize your symptoms and learn to pull back, rest, or change to less taxing activities when reaching your threshold. And so what is your threshold? Well, these are the basic symptoms that we covered earlier about what a concussion is. So you have to learn what are your triggers, what are your threshold parts. For me, it's light sensitivity, noise sensitivity, speaking problems, balance issues, and left side weakness are my main ones. And ringing in the ears and a bit of a headache type pain. So I know if I'm working on a task and my ears start ringing loudly and I'm having a bit of trouble with my vision and stuff like that, and that's my first clue, I'm reaching my threshold. So you have to start picking up on those and it's hard during a busy day. To recognize, oh yeah, my head's getting a little tight, my ears are ringing, my balance is off a little bit, and I can't speak properly, I'm starting to stutter and stammer. Those are your clues. You're reaching your threshold, you've used up quite a bit of energy, you're going to have to pull back and change to a different task, or stop and rest.
Because I call it losing my words.
Yeah.
I can't find my words.
Yeah, so that's your clues that your brain's telling you, you got to slow down or stop or I'm going to shut you down. Did you keep going? Tip number 4, become aware of when you're experiencing sensory overload, i.e. when your symptoms become aggravated. Learn to recognize and avoid your stressors. If not possible to remove yourself from your stressors, then you need to protect yourself. And that's where you get into wearing earplugs or noise-canceling headphones, solar shield sunglasses. For me, because I wear glasses, I have these solar shields that fit right over the glasses, and a hat with a brim. And some people, I used to wear the little clip-on glasses, and I would wear them indoors. And of course, I worked in an office, it didn't look good wearing a hat. So I developed this shield that went around, I made it out of cardboard, went around my computer monitor because there were fluorescent lights around me. I shut mine off directly over my workspace, but the next workspace beside me when I'm working away, it's right there in my face. So I built up this solar shield, or this cardboard shield over my workstation so I can avoid that light. Eventually I ended up putting a fabric cloth, like a curtain, up over there. So it just protected me from that impact of the fluorescent lights. Common stressors for those with concussions and brain injuries, bright lights, fluorescent lighting is everywhere. And strobe lights. For me, strobe lights just kill me on fire alarms, photo flashes, even sometimes on emergency vehicles. Loud and sudden noises or constant noise, large crowds and busy environments, and multiple conversations going on at once. These are all major stressors. When you have a concussion, you should not be in these environments. And this is from, I posted this up on their Facebook page on April the 5th. And this was from, I think it was brainline.org. They had posted this on their page. How to avoid sensory overload. Avoid crowds and chaotic places where there are a lot of stimuli, like shopping malls. It's not a good place to be when you're dealing with a brain injury. Do shopping and errands early in the week and early in the day when stores are less crowded and quieter. My favorite time to go is 7:30 in the morning to Walmart. Nobody's around. And the grocery store's open at 8, so I always say, okay, I can go now. Shop in smaller, quieter stores when possible. I do not go to Superstore. I go to the smaller neighborhood co-ops and Safeways. Eat out in restaurants when they're quieter and in between regular meal times. 2 o'clock in the afternoon is the best time to go to a restaurant. And hold conversations in the quiet place. If you're meeting somebody for coffee or tea, don't go to a Starbucks or a busy coffee shop, noisy coffee shop. It took me years to go around in my environment to try and find quiet corners, quiet little shops. And they are out there, but you have to do some searching. And ask people to please speak one at a time and explain that you'd really like to hear what everyone has to say, but you can only hear one person at a time. And sleep during car trips. So like when you're on vacation, you're on a road trip or whatever, not while you're driving, obviously somebody else is driving, but that's your time to rest and reserve your energy. And have your solar shields on, have your hat on, just tilt your head against the window, and if you can't nap, at least keep your eyes closed, and that conserves a lot of energy. And if you want to attend a function that you expect will be taxing, plan to stay only a short while. Take your hat and your sunglasses and earplugs. Sit towards the back to minimize the sound and where you can easily exit to a quieter place or to the car. My suggestion is sometimes you have to make a decision, don't go at all. Save yourself the aggravation. Because I used to go just even to simple potlucks at work to colleagues' houses. And there'd be like, 10, 12 people there. It's not that big. And we're standing around eating and talking and stuff like that. It would take me 3 or 4 days to get over that. So sometimes I would just say, it's not worth it. I'm just not going to go. Because I have to go to work the next day. It feels like you're working under a big anvil. And I said, it's just not worth it. Managing your energy, you have to realize every day is going to be different. Of course, we all strive to be awesome every day, but most of us are really down in the poor or the average realm. And so you have to get used to, especially if you're a type A personality and used to functioning up here, and you're only functioning down here, it's a big adjustment. And you just have to realize that's going to be the way it is for a little while. And if you've had multiple concussions and you're now in traumatic brain injury realm, it's a new way of life. Upon awakening every morning, take inventory. Did you get a full night's sleep? Do you have any pain or numbness you're dealing with? How is your balance? How is your vision? Is it bright and sunny outside? Are you going to need to wear your solar shields and your hat? Assess how much energy you may have for the day. And you may need to make adjustments to any planned activities or obligations for the day. Now this happened to me a lot while I was working, and sometimes I would have a bad night, maybe only 2-3 hours sleep, and I just have to accept the fact I can't go out for lunch to meet my friends. So I would just call them all or email them and say, can we reschedule for another day? I just won't be able to do it today. And they understood. I said I have to stay and rest over my lunch hour. I'm not going to make it through the day. Every day is an opportunity to learn and try out new coping techniques. Please be gentle with yourself. This is a big adjustment for a lot of people. And practice lots of self-care, which we talked about in the last month. When you are able to consistently manage your energy, you will find your days more manageable, less stressful, and then more healing can occur. And in aid of your recovery and making progress and moving forward. Now, unfortunately, everybody has the expectation that recovery is from point A to point B, but with brain injury, it's not. It's all over the place. And you have to just be aware this is your new reality now. Unfortunately, setbacks or relapses can happen during stressful times or if you get re-injured. Stressful times, like things like losing your job, moving, a loved one dies, or you have to undergo surgery. You have to realize these things are going to affect you for a while, and it may take you a few months to recuperate from all that stress. You have to be patient with yourself and practice your coping strategies and lots of self-care. And eventually you do get back, and I find you get back quicker than what you did the first time. But it is still frustrating. And you always have to remember that tomorrow is another chance to try again. Never give up. So now, I have a little scheduled break time here. Is everybody okay? Want to continue on, or do you want to take a little break?
I have a question.
Yep.
Well, I'm good not to take a break, but
Get on to part 2 here, improving sleep hygiene. Sleep is the prime time for the brain to heal itself. It says, hey, there's nothing going on, this person's at rest, this is a great time now for us to start making some repair work here. And so that's what, like I said, I was dealing with a lot of nerve pain on the left side because it would wake me up in the middle of the night and there was nothing I could do. I had complementary stuff I was doing, homeopathic remedies, and it would temper the pain a little bit but not take it away, so I just had to distract myself. I would place gravel on my laptop and for hours on end because I'm just trying to not concentrate on the pain. So generally when we're sleeping, this is when the brain does a lot of maintenance, repair of muscles and bones, skin cells repair and regenerate, detoxification of liver, and rebuilding the immune system. Sleep is so important for healing an injured brain. It's actually one of the best healing practices. But you need good quality, consistent, routine sleep schedule. You can't get by staying up till midnight, 1 o'clock, and then have to get up at 7 o'clock the next morning. And if you're not getting good, consistent sleep, maybe you're awake half the night and you only get 2 or 3 hours sleep. This is not what we're after. You need a good routine. Go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time. Every day, weekends, holidays. Improve your sleep hygiene is crucial. And here's a little quotation we came across. Me, let me sleep. Brain, no. Let's stay awake and remember every stupid decision you made in your life. Because the brain just doesn't know how to shut down. Unless you do these practice this relaxation stuff that we talked about in part 1. If you don't have the good sleep hygiene, you're not setting your brain up to relax and get it ready to go to bed. It's just going to sit there and it's just going to go into overdrive and you're laying there and you just can't get to sleep. So you do need to have a regular sleep routine. It helps the body prepare for sleeping by winding down. You need to feel, and it helps you to feel more alert when you do wake up in the morning. And also can be helpful to keep a sleep diary or sleep log. And here's a sample of one. You can get this one free online, printabletodolist.com. I do have some printouts back there. You can help yourself to those. And basically, you're just keeping track of what time you went to bed and how many hours you had to sleep, and if you woke up at all during the night, and how you felt in the morning. This is a sleep log that I came across. It was suggested to me by the rehab I was taking in 2003 from this book here, No More Sleepless Nights by Dr. Peter Hari. And I really like this one here because it was more in depth, and I changed a couple of the categories here for dealing with the pain. So I would have a one in there that says, were you dealing with any pain that night, yes or no? And where was this pain? And rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 for the level of pain. So that was a way for me to keep track of that as well too, and see how that was impacting my sleep. And there's a sample of that back there too if you want. Some do's and don'ts for sleep hygiene. Establish a regular routine by going to bed at the same time each day and getting up at the same time. Use your bed for sleeping only. Don't watch TV or have any devices in bed. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but the blue light on a lot of the devices is very disruptive to the brain, and it just gets you aggravated. There are applications, I forget the name of the one I have on my phone, but it tones down the blue light. And there are apps that you can download. If you have Macs, they have it built right in.
I put a yellow filter on mine.
Oh.
And my TV at home has
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people do that too. Yeah. But when I found out about the apps, I said, well, I'm going to try that. Because I didn't know where to get a yellow film. Develop sleep rituals before going to bed to help you wind down and relax. For example, take a bath or listen to gentle music. Get regular exposure to outdoors and bright lights. Avoid eating heavy meals late in the evening. My God, look at that sandwich. Who's going to eat that? Reduce your intake of caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine in the hours before bed. Well, you guys or anybody who's been to a lot of these meetings, you know how I feel about alcohol and brain injury. Don't. Create a calm bedroom that is cool, dark, and quiet. Earplugs and blackout blinds may be helpful. Use relaxation techniques, which we discussed on part 1. And avoid stress and worry at bedtime. Because your brain's just not going to be able to calm down. And avoid taking any naps after 4 p.m. This guy just didn't make it through the day. He doesn't have a good routine set up yet, and he just crashed. And I would like to add here as well too, there's tips for waking up. A brain injured person functions best when they're able to slowly enter into the day. Wake up and get up at the same time every morning. If possible, do not use a jarring alarm clock. That's not a good way to start the day. Already your nervous system is set up. A lot of people say, well, I can't wake up without a clock. And I said, well, change it to classical music then, or change it to a talk radio station. Don't have that jarring stuff wake you up. Or you can buy one of those fancy ones with the lights that get brighter and brighter, like sunshine, like the sunrise, and that wakes up people as well too. I haven't used an alarm clock in 20 years. I just wake up naturally. I go to bed at 8, 9 o'clock, mostly 9, sometimes 8 if I really need it. And usually I wake up at 5:30. It's best to wake up naturally when your body and your brain have had adequate rest and are ready to start a new day. So that's the premise that I live by. I didn't use an alarm clock, and I still was able to get up early enough and make it to work every day without a problem. And I just felt it was more fair to my body and my brain to tell me when it was ready and rejuvenated enough that I would wake up and it was ready to get going for the day. Do gentle activities as you prepare for the day. Soak in the tub, do meditation, yoga, or Tai Chi, and listen to positive affirmations or gentle, soft music. So it's like a routine you have in the morning to slowly get yourself going, but still be gentle and relaxed and get you ready to go out into the world. So now we're on to part 3 here, sound and vibrational healing with music. We're doing quite well time-wise. And I'm not referring here to our popular music of today like pop, rock, rap, or country. Those are not relaxing, those are not helpful. This has more to do with ancient traditional music and sounds such as chanting, chimes, mantras, and classical music. Sounds for meditation, healing, and well-being. A lot of people refer to this as sound therapy or vibrational healing. And this is the whole, I found it when I discovered it by accident. Nobody knows about this kind of stuff. Jonathan Goldman, I've been listening to his CDs for years. He's been a wonderful resource. He's a renowned musician and composer down in the States. He's an international authority on sound healing and a pioneer in the field of harmonics. He's author of several books, and his latest, The Divine Name, was winner of the 2011 Visionary Award for the Best Alternative Health Book. And he quotes here, modern science is now in agreement with what the ancient mystics have told us, that everything is in a state of vibration. Every organ, every bone, every tissue, every system of the body is creating a sound. Another expert here is Dr. Jeffrey D. Thompson. He's the founder-director of the Center of Neuroacoustic Research down in California. He's also author of the book called Sound, Medicine for the New Millennium. And he says here, human beings have been using sound to access deeper states of consciousness, expand your awareness, and heal the body for thousands of years. Chanting, toning, Tibetan singing bowls, Chinese meditation gongs, and mantras are just a few examples of this use of sound. And I would also like to introduce you to these ones in case you've never heard of them. I discovered all these by accident on my own because I was constantly always looking for things that would help me. So facial frequencies are amazing. I have a section coming up that will explain more about what these are. And there's binaural beats. Some people call it binaural, but I pronounce it binaural. I went online and there's 2 ways of pronouncing it, and binaural seems to be the most common one. And these are when you have a tone in one ear and a tone in the other ear, and it produces a different tone that your brain is listening to, and it's just a different way of training your brain to be in a different vibration than what we're in during the day. And 432 hertz music, I'm infatuated with this, and it's a whole science. I accidentally came across this stuff, many years ago, and my husband was curious because I was sharing some of this with him, and he had an electronics background, and he wanted to know what this Hertz business was all about. So he got into all that and looked into that. So I have some history and background about all that coming up here as well too. So solfeggio frequencies. These original sound frequencies were used in ancient Gregorian chants and were said to have been lost centuries ago by church authorities. Now in modern times they are believed to assist with releasing emotional patterns, repairing DNA, are associated with whole brain quadrant interconnectedness. Now this is very important. I'm a left brain female, which is, I guess, a rare animal. Most women are right brain female. And when my injury happened, they said it was, after the testing, they said it was more of a left brain injury. So that's probably why it hit me so hard, because I'm used to functioning over here. And so I came across these meditations and sounds where it was integrating both sides of the brain. And then in the middle here, and there's a visualization you can do to stitch the two together, and you become more of a whole brain person instead of relying on just one side or the other. Intuitive states, nonlinear thinking, unconditional love, and spiritual order. So there are 9 solfeggio frequencies. A lot of times when you start looking for this kind of stuff, there's 6 that are the most common ones that people are using, but in true form there are 9 of them. And caution here, it says, do not use these tones while driving or operating machinery, and listen at low to moderate volume level, and headphones are not required. So I have a few samples here. I do want to let you hear some of them. And some people listen, I did for many years, I listened to the tones, pure tones just themselves under headphones when I was taking my brain breaks. And other people listen to the music where these are embedded into the relaxation music and you don't really notice them, but you're getting the health benefits from them. So this one here, we're going to try 396 hertz. This one is supposed to be for liberation of fear and guilt. Now, I was going to bring external speakers and I didn't. Let's see if I can. So I think it's playing a couple of them. This is operating differently than it did when I had just my screen. So this main one here we're hearing is 528 hertz for transformation and miracles. Hope I can shut all these off. And then I want to bring up this one, 741. It's consciousness expansion. So go away. So just gives you a sample of what they sound like. They're very powerful, very intense healing modality. Binaural beats, it has to do with, there's a lot more historical information I wanted to put in here because of time limits I couldn't, so you can I have some links coming up here where you can start doing your own research on the history and how people are using these. Binaural beats has to do with the perception of sound with both ears, or relating to sound transmission from 2 sources, which may vary acoustically, as in tone or pitch, to give a stereophonic effect. So that's a picture here that shows the different tones go into each ear. And so it's like a wavering sound, and the brain reacts positively to this kind of stuff. Although the creation of binaural beats music has only been possible through technological advancement in the last 100 years or so, the use of this natural science dates back thousands of years. That's through the chanting and mantras and stuff that they've been doing for centuries. They do have cautions though with binaural beats because it is very powerful. If you're epileptic or prone to seizures, using binaural beats is discouraged. Children are not encouraged to use them because their brains are still developing. Binaural beats can affect heart rhythm, so anyone with a pacemaker or heart problem should be wary when it comes to using them. Driving, operating machinery, or carrying out important tasks while listening is not a good idea. Each individual case is different, so if you fall into any of these categories, but you're still curious about binaural beats, please do check with your doctor before using them. So is anyone here in any of those categories of health concerns? Because I do have a little sample. I want to just let you hear the wavering sound that makes. So there's one tone here and another tone here, and they make a different tone in the middle. And again, a lot of people, I think some people are using these just straight tones. I never did. I did because it's so powerful, but I did with the solfeggio frequencies. I listened to those straight, and then I eventually got into the music where it was embedded into it. 432 hertz music is my passion. I accidentally discovered this one, and I just can't say enough about it. It's considered the Earth's heartbeat. It's also considered the Schumann resonance. A German physicist, Schumann, documented this resonance in 1952. I hope I'm saying that right, resonance. He understood that global electromagnetic resonances existed within the cavity between the Earth's surface and the inner edge of the ionosphere, and are excited and activated by lightning. He determined that the frequency of these electromagnetic waves are very low, ranging from 7.86 hertz to 8 hertz. This frequency is essentially the Earth's heartbeat, and the frequency that the Earth beats at. And 432 hertz resonates with the frequency of 8 hertz. Listening to a concentrated recording of music at this frequency, like a binaural beats track, will synchronize or entrain the brain to a state of induced relaxation and intuitive learning. When we spend more time being attuned to the natural electromagnetic pulses of the Earth, 432 hertz, we feel more centered, balanced, conscious, and peaceful. And there's a big controversy. A lot of people are very upset about this. And like I said, my husband was the one who discovered this maybe about 4 years ago. The 432 hertz versus the commercial standard of 440 hertz. According to music theory, the scale A, I think that's the proper thing, scale. I'm not sure, I'm not musical at all. A equals 432 hertz is mathematically consistent with the universe. It is known as Verdi's A, named after Giuseppe Verdi, a famous Italian composer. Verdi and many other musicians like Mozart tuned their music to this frequency because of its healing energy and the natural feel-good properties it evoked with their audience. Even though 432 was approved as the standard in Italy in the 1800s, music today is not tuned to 432 hertz.
Still?
It is because the American Federation of Musicians accepted the 440 hertz as the standard pitch in 1917. This gets really interesting. Then in 1940, the United States introduced 440 hertz worldwide. London followed suit, and in 1953, 440 hertz was approved as general tuning standard for musical pitch. It is believed that the 440 hertz frequency was deliberately adopted by governments as a way to control and manipulate the masses, making them lethargic, often borderline depressed, and therefore easily influenced. Take that as you wish. And we need more 432 hertz in our lives. You will naturally feel more pleasant after listening to 432 hertz music instead of 440 hertz because your brain will become attuned to the frequency of the Earth. 432 hertz will naturally make you feel more peaceful and happier, feel more at peace and open possibilities for greater healing, especially when healing from a concussion. So I have a sample here of the 432 hertz. This is music with it embedded in it. So like the solfeggio frequencies, you heard those tones, and so the 432 is like that kind of a tone, but it's buried in the music, so you don't even really notice it, but you do get the relaxation, the health benefits from that. Just a small sample. So there are online sources for all of these. Solfeggiotones.com, you can actually download the tones if you want to save them onto your MP3 players, and you can listen to them under headphones. And they say there's no regulated way of using them. You don't have to follow any certain pattern. Just listen to all of them and go to the one that you're attracted to and listen to that 3 times a day for 15 minutes minimum. And once you get tired or bored with that one, move on to the next one that attracts you. So I used to do that for many years when I was laying down having my brain breaks at work. Binaural Beats Meditation.com is a website that explains the history of this. and how to use them and that type of thing. YouTube is where I get most of my 432 hertz music from, and these are some of the channels I recommend if you're not good at searching on your own. Jason Stevenson is a fellow down in Australia. He has lots of guided meditations that are phenomenal, and he also has a lot of the different hertz music as well too. It's really good. Meditative Mind, I cannot say enough about that one. I'm just in love with that site. That picture that was on my desktop on my computer was from that website, or from their channel. And Power Thoughts Meditation Club. So I'm finding a lot of 432 hertz music on these sites. Spotify, a lot of people are downloading a lot of these solfeggio tones and the 432 hertz music. There's all kinds of, there's also one I came across just recently, like within the last month or so, Delta Brainwave Deep Sleep Music, because I'm on certain medications and they interfere with sleep, and that's not good for my brain injury. So I came across this deep sleep music and I said, well, I'll give it a try. And I've been getting by on 2, 3, 4 hours sleep for the last 17 years. That's not healthy. And then when I go under stress and that type of thing, it gets worse. So I started getting 4 hours sleep and then 5 hours sleep, and I'm going, wow. And now most nights I can get 7 hours sleep, but I haven't had that in almost 20 years. It's just phenomenal. Of course, it's not consistent. I don't listen to the same song or the same channel all the time. I don't want my brain to get fixed on one, so I'm switching it up all the time. And some are more scientific than others. Some are just like new age artists, just giving it a shot type of thing, whatever. So sometimes I'm awake till 4 a.m. I still have unusual patterns, and sometimes I wake up at 2 a.m. I can't get back to sleep. So it's all over the place, but generally on average I'm starting to get 6 and 7 hours sleep, and it's just like, wow. So I attribute it to this delta brainwave. There's also theta brainwave deep sleep music, and it's just amazing. So I just play it on my cell phone and have it on my bedside table. It's plugged in, of course, so it doesn't use up all the battery, and I just listen to that at night. Spotify, Google Play, you can download apps to your phone as well too and find them. And SoundsTrue.com is a company down in Boulder, Colorado, and they have a lot of artists on there. You can either buy their CDs or you can download from their website as well too. You pay for them. And I like to end our session with a positive thought. It's okay if you fall down and lose your spark. Just make sure that when you get back up, you rise as the whole damn fire. You never give up. So here are some of the resources that I accessed to put this session together. Alberta Brain Injury Initiative Survival Guide. And I did put these up. No, I didn't. But if you want me to, because the links are quite long, or you can just search for Alberta Brain Injury Survival Guide, and you can find that PDF file and download it for yourself. And Managing Fatigue After Brain Injury by Headway. It's in the UK, and they had a PDF booklet as well too, and you can download those from their websites. No More Sleepless Nights by Peter Hari. This is the book that was suggested to me when I went through my rehab. It used to be available at Calgary Public Library. I did a search, they don't have it anymore. But you can order it on Amazon, and then he has a workbook that goes with that as well too. So they're both very helpful. This Is Your Music on Brain is another good book if you want to explore more about how music interacts with your brain and helps your brain heal and that type of stuff. It's really good for extra reading. And again, Jeffrey Thompson and Jonathan Goldman, we have their websites there where you can access their work, and the solfeggio frequencies and the binaural beats. And for general further information on brain injuries, we have a few links here you can access, and I did post this up on our Facebook page after last month's meeting, so you can find those on there. And I like Brain Injury Resource Center Toolkit. It's by an organization down in Washington, Seattle, Washington, and they have so much information there, it's overwhelming. And it's just amazing. But you do find some really good treasures in there, and I like this toolkit in specific. There was something in there, and I can't find it again, because this was like 10 years ago when or maybe even 13 years ago when I first came across it. But it was a worksheet and an inventory sheet about setting goals. And I've been off and running ever since, because it gave me direction. And these are concussion support services here in Calgary. I decided to finally make a compiled list. So there's the Calgary Brain Injury Program. This is a service for adults with concussion or mild, moderate, or severe acquired brain injury. And there is a website there and a phone number there. And these I do have posted on our Facebook page. I posted those up this afternoon, so the links are active on there, so just click. And even me, and I'm fairly intuitive, and I know how to find things, I found a lot of these websites trying to find things very difficult. So I don't know how a person with an active brain injury is supposed to find this information other than go to your doctor and ask to be referred. There's also the Alberta Healthy Living Program, Coping with Concussion. Now I hear about this a lot, and I even had a booklet at one time that talked about this, and there was a phone number that you can call up to register for that program. And I did find a website that had some information there on them, but it says refer to our brochure for further information, and it's not online. It's a booklet I picked up. I found this, of all places, at the dialysis center downtown at the Sheldon Shamir Center. And community accessible rehab, that's a lot of people here have gone through that program. And this is for people who have more than 3 months injury, and you get a referral through your family doctor to attend that program. I think we have 2 or 3 members that are currently in that program right now. Brain Injury Assist, supports for community living. I believe this is a private company, but they're getting funding through Alberta Human Services. And they have a website there as well too to find out more information about how to get into their programs. And SABIS, which is the Southern Alberta Brain Injury Society, they offer various peer support programs. Terry, you're still associated with them? Is there one specifically for concussion, or is this more for the more traumatic brain injury ones?
No, I mean, they go right to the whole gamut, whether it's a stroke, concussion, whatever, right?
Okay.
Because a lot of the symptoms are very similar.
Yeah. Because when I went to them in 2003, they didn't have a program for mild traumatic brain injury, just for severe.
Yeah, and
but now they're changing and upgrading, so it's great to see that.
Yeah, because the one I'm in right now is what they call the men's group.
Oh, okay.
And we actually, on our first session, we set the topics we're going to talk about for the next 12 weeks.
Wow, okay. And they do have a website there or a phone number. You can call up and ask for information. And see. I think most of them are offered during the weekdays.
They're all during the weekdays.
Yeah, nothing in the evening, so anybody who's working, unfortunately, can't access those.
Yeah, it's only the caregiver program that's in the evenings.
In the evenings, yeah. And now there's, I decided to make a list here of survivor organized support groups for concussion, which is what this one is. And the other 2 is Concussion Life. They meet the first Monday of each month down in Kensington, and they have a website there. Concussion Info and Support Group, this is a meetup group. They meet twice monthly at the downtown Co-op Market, and they have a link there on the meetup webpage. And then our group, Calgary Concussion Awareness and Support. There's online support groups for concussion. They're on Facebook, so just go on to Facebook. You have to join and start searching for concussion groups. And all these ones will come up here. For any females over 25, there is one specifically for women. It's called Pink Concussion, so that might be of interest for anybody. And we generally meet the last Thursday of every month from September to May, but not December. Our next meeting is scheduled for May the 31st, and we'll be talking more coping techniques, part 3, redefining normal. And we'll be talking about understanding loss of self, managing your own recovery, and nutrition to support brain health and brain healing. So I do have flyers back there. If you'd like to pick up a few and pass along to others who might want to learn more about concussions, or if you prefer to receive a flyer electronically. And here is a screenshot of our Facebook page. I'm encouraging everyone to please like our Facebook page for those who are Facebook users, and also to like, comment, and share our postings so we can all further help raise awareness about concussions, and hopefully encourage more people to join our group and come and participate in our meetings. Thank you. So that concludes our meeting for this evening. If there are any further comments or questions, now's the time to ask. Otherwise, we'll move on to our open discussion and our sharing circle. Thank you for everyone who attended tonight, and we'll see you next month on May 31.